Now we're going to focus on the delivery and all the key aspects of each movement, each phase of the delivery to help you analyze your player to help him improve in all the aspects of control, power, and deception.
Okay, I want to talk briefly about the stance. You can see many, many different stances throughout the major leagues. A couple of aspects we really want to focus on is basically based on personal preference. A couple of things we want to do. We want to always maintain the integrity of our control of our body. If I'm taking a really long step and I'm having to move my body a lot, this is really going to jeopardize our control and possibly our power aspect of it. So we want to do something that's really comfortable and we can control. Now our stance width varies from narrow to wide. Most major leaguers are in the shoulder width or just slightly more than shoulder width because I can actually move my body and maintain an athletic move and keep control of my body as I'm going home. So stances are really kind of into a position where they feel comfortable with. It's built into their delivery. Another aspect that's very, very important is that we not only maintain control of our body, but we also maintain the timing of our movement. We want to create a rhythm and a timing in our delivery. So sometimes our stance will aid in that. If I'm wide and I take a nice short jab step here, and now I can get my leg up, I can build a rhythm to my delivery. Rhythm is very, very important in pitching. So depending on how we deliver the baseball, I can time that in with my hand movement. But we want to make sure everything's synchronized because that synchronization, the body loves it, craves rhythm. So what I want to do is try to kind of build within that, let the body receive it, let it search for it. Once I get it, I can pretty much close my eyes and my body will do it autopilot. So our stance helps us in that so that we can take a nice athletic move, maintain the integrity of control of our body, and help create rhythm and synchronicity.
There are two different stances that we're going to utilize during a game. As spoken earlier, the stance in the windup, and there's also the one that would be in the stretch. Now, out of the windup, the benefits are obviously we talked about is the rhythm and the timing of it. So, but out of the stretch, we're going to lose that aspect and the ability to keep the rhythm and timing. In fact, what I want to do is disrupt my timing so I can disrupt his timing. Now, for example, if I were to maintain my timing out of the stretch, I would come set, make my pitch, deliver a ball, come set, make my pitch, deliver a ball. And if I were to continue along that trend, he would steal me blind because he would guess the timing when I'm going to deliver my pitch and get a running lead. So that's not necessarily something we want to do. We want to be able to slow down, evaluate the situation, change and vary things up so he can't get a good read, and then effectively deliver a pitch home. Now there's a couple of aspects that I want to consider while we're in the stretch position. And number one is this. When I come set, I want to make sure that my weight is slightly on the backside or on my back leg. Now the reason for this is if I come here and I come set with my weight in the middle and I pick my leg up, okay, you see how fast I move home, all right? Now if I come set here and I have my weight slightly to the inside part of my leg and I pick my leg up, you see there's quite a bit more time before my fall begins. This is going to give me the ability for a couple things. Number one, allows me to catch up, allows my timing of my body to get to a good release point position where I can deliver a quality pitch home. Secondly, is it's going to give me a feeling of power in here. I'm on my back leg, I pick my leg up, or I do a slide step, I'm feeling all my weight and all my power and pressure on that back leg, on the inside part, and I'm driving home. So there's a couple of aspects where I'm not going to lose my power, and it gives me that timing where I can maintain the control of and integrity of my pitch. So those are a couple of aspects that we want to consider when we come in the stretch position. The second part of that is this. When I come set, and I come very narrow in my stance, my weight is evenly distributed, it's very difficult to make a quick move home, or just to first base. However, if I come back, my weight's back on my back leg, and my legs are wider apart, I can make a real quick move to first base and potentially get a pickoff play. All right, so very, very important aspect that as we come set, we can maintain the power, we can maintain the timing, we can still effectively deliver a pickoff move, and especially if we're going to go to second base. Now, if I come here, my weight's already back, I come out, it'll allow me to deliver that move with great effectiveness. If my weight's forward or centered, I'm literally going to have to go backwards first before I make that move, and that's going to be a telling cue to the base runner. So what we want to establish is maintain the integrity of the pitch first. Deliver a quality pitch first. If I don't do that, there's going to be guys running around the bases, and being in the stretch is going to be useless anyway. So important aspect, deliver your pitch, make it a quality pitch, and we're going to use and work within the confines of the stretch with a couple of components of maintaining our power, timing, and being able to disrupt and deceive the runner. One of the major differences of being in the windup and being in the stretch is that in the windup, as I spoke about earlier, you're able to create your rhythm and timing. On the stretch, we lose that luxury. In fact, we have to disrupt our timing so that we can disrupt his timing.
I want to talk a little bit about the pivot. Now, both the stance and the pivot, aren't the main and critical ingredients, but they do have an effect where it can help us be a little bit more successful in our pitch. The pivot is this. Again, we want to create that rhythm and have that timing in our delivery, but we also want to make sure that we maintain the position on the rubber that we want to throw on that pitch. For example, if I come here and I put my foot down the same exact spot, that's going to help me be consistent with my delivery. Okay? One of the reasons why we have the pivot is so that we can define it when that foot comes off the rubber, where my body is in that position and where it's going to lead to the next one. So as I pivot, my foot plants, it's parallel with the rubber, it's not on an angle, it's parallel so that when we get into that leverage position we talked about earlier, I'm actually bracing up against that rubber as I'm driving home. I won't have as much effectiveness laterally with my drive if my foot is positioned this way or slightly open this way. So I want to make sure that I'm parallel to the rubber so I have a good drive and a good brace to push up against. I use this in my career as well. It's very, very effective. I would throw my cut fastball in on a right-handed hitter, but it was much more effective when I threw on this side of the rubber. Most of my career I faced left-handers, so I stayed on this rubber so my side of the rubber so my cutter would have more effectiveness. So when I throw it to right-handers, I would literally come over here and then plant on this side of the rubber, so I would actually move over about 8-10 inches on the plate, throw the same pitch I would throw to lefty, and would come in on right-handers and freeze them. So depending on where I put my foot on the rubber, again, is all dependent upon what pitch I want to throw. Okay, the only reason we would change our foot placement on our pivot is to create more deception on the hitter. I'll create a different arm angle, I'll create a different flight path angle, and it might be the angle I want to execute my pitch in. Now this is an advanced technique, something that I would use only 2 or 3 times a game to try to get that pitch to be more effective. This is not something I would train on an everyday basis.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the first step in the windup. First step in the windup can vary depending on your stance, but there's a couple of key aspects that we want to pay close attention to. First one we're going to talk about is when I take my step, I'm going to take it with a backward motion, either straight back or back at a 45-degree angle. And what that's going to allow me to do is going to allow me to create and build momentum into my delivery. So as I take that step back, plant my foot, pick my leg up, you can see that my body starts this process of moving forward towards home plate, initiating the onset of momentum. Okay, this is very, very important if I want to deliver more power into the pitch, because now I'm using my legs, I'm using gravity, and creating this momentum to help accelerate the ball. Secondly, is if that's not what I want to do and I want to work more mainly on control, is I will take a step more to the side of the rubber or in front of the rubber that will kind of slow down that momentum so I can control my body more. If I'm having difficulty because my body's going too fast, I would definitely use this technique. So my first move is going to be to the side, and then when I plant my foot, you can see that I'm not falling home or drifting home like I was when I took my step back. So if I'm here, if I step to the side, bang, I come up, I have a little bit more time over the rubber as I deliver the pitch home. Same thing as if I step forward, now my momentum is actually going backwards, so I can stay a little bit more over the rubber before I deliver my pitch home. So depending on what you're looking for, there's 2 aspects that you want to think about. If I want to create more power, build more momentum, I'll take a step back so that as I pick my leg up, my body starts its process moving forward. If I want to work more on the control aspect of it, I will step more to the side, controlling more my body movement going forward,